Thank you for tuning in to the Rock is George podcast, episode 255, featuring late 80s, early 90s, AOR melodic rock guitarist GENE Marchello, talking about the re-release of his band Marchello's debut album, Destiny, and originally unreleased sophomore album, The Power of Money. If I knew absolutely nothing about Marchello, how would you describe the group's music to me?
Describe the music. It's kind of like hard rock meets heavy metal, but not super metal, but it has its metal moments, let's say that. It's good songs, decent songs. My dad actually wrote the songs from the Good Rats, Pepe Marchello, and he wrote most of the songs. I wrote a couple. I co-wrote a few. But that's that. And I play guitar and I sing on it. And my guitar playing, a lot of people said it was really good, and singing too. So that's about that so far.
I think back then when the group released their first album, we called it rock radio. And today we call it adult-oriented rock or melodic rock.
Yeah.
High production values, great guitar solos, big on melodies. I think that's what Marchello really is.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So today we're talking about you re-releasing Marchello's 1989 album, Destiny, and what was to be your 1991 album, The Power of Money. Both are out now through High Roller Records. Before we get to the re-releases, I think we need to go back to the beginning. I'm fairly certain a lot of people are hearing the name Marchello for the first time now. Let's hit the time machine in 1984. You mentioned your father, Pepe Marchello. You guys were working together on a project back in 84 called Pop Zaraka.
Yeah, it was probably more like around 86 to like 88 or something like that. Yes, Pop Zaraka came about after my father was trying to get another deal with Atlantic Records, and that didn't pan out, and he decided, well, maybe just let's see if I can do it, if I can sing and play guitar and all that with his songs. So I did, and it came out pretty good, and we got signed to CBS. Heard our demo, and CBS liked it very much. They we did a little showcase for them, and they decided to sign us.
So before you and your father started working together, you mentioned his band, the Good Rats. Did they sound similar to Marchello, or were they more 70s punkish kind of band?
More 70s, 80s, early 80s, but they were still a rock and roll band, and but my father he's a pretty unique songwriter. He had some weird songs he wrote about and things he wrote about. And and he's very, very talented songwriter. So you could probably tell by the music on the Marchello record. It's very song oriented,
Before teaming up with your father, did you play in bands prior?
No, I did not. No, I was doing demos with my dad early when I was like 15 for a project he was going to call Straight Jacket. And just to get away for a little bit from the Good Rats name, but then he figured later on the Good Rats name was good, so he ended up, after I did Marchello. I know I'm jumping above now, but front. But after I did Marchello, I actually joined the Good Rats with my father. My father took ownership of the name, and he was the lead singer, founder, and songwriter of the Good Rats back in the '60s. So that's about it there.
So you mentioned that you signed with CBS Records after a showcase, but from what I understand, CBS wasn't big on your dad being out front of the project, correct?
Yeah, well, I think I guess that was CBS. Yeah, I get confused with CBS and Atlantic. CBS, I think they maybe wanted to try out me too. Well, I'm not sure, but I could be wrong. It's a long time ago.
I'm sure that probably CBS was under the Atlantic banner in some way. I didn't actually try to connect the dots.
Yeah.
So was it the record label's idea to change the name to Marcello, or was that something that you wanted?
That's what me and my dad wanted, you know, being that I'm a Marcello, he's a Marcello, and we decided to name the band Marcello. And CBS had no problem with that. So,
And your dad stayed on to produce the album because, I mean,
yes, he did. He produced the first album.
He wrote a lot of the songs, right?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So before signing with the label, was Destiny mostly complete, or was it just all in demo form at the time?
It was just demo form at the time. Yeah.
How did the other members of the group come on board? You had Nick D. Machino on bass, Gary Bavina on keyboards, and John Maselli on drums.
Yeah, they're all very good musicians. I was friends with Nick for a long time in high school. We had started out in high school. Actually, he was playing bass. No, he was playing guitar, a regular electric guitar. And then my father said, "Why don't you just learn bass?" And just for the sake of having me play the guitar, you know, I guess. And Nick learned bass, and he got pretty good and really good. And he got even better on the second album. And you know, him and John Michelli and Gary Pavona ended up after Marcello going their separate ways, and Gary Pavona went for a Journey cover band, tribute band. John Michelli went into Meatloaf. He joined Meatloaf because we opened up as Marcello for Meatloaf 20 times. So we also opened up for Joan Jett. We opened up for Ozzy Osbourne. And yeah, twice. And Ozzy actually came down to see me before Marcello when I was in Pops Rocka. I don't know if you're following this, but Ozzy came down to see me to Long Island to see me because he wanted a new guitar player to replace Jake E. Lee. And he ended up going with Zakk Wylde instead, of course. And there are rumors that say that he actually wanted me, but I don't know. I can't get into it, but I didn't do the gig, so.
Well, while we're on who Marcello opened for back in the after the 1989 album came out, or just before it, whichever it was, what was it like playing with Meatloaf?
It was actually, that's when the album was already released, the Marcello Destiny. It was really cool. It was really nice. They were pretty cool.
And you mentioned actually opening for Ozzy Osbourne. Was Jake E. Lee in the band at the time?
Actually, he was leaving the band. He left the band. And when we opened for Ozzy, Zakk Wylde was in the band. When we actually opened for Ozzy 2 shows,
yep.
Yeah. But I was supposed to replace Jake E. Lee, and ended up 2 days later. He said he found a little bit older guy than me with longer blonde hair. So I was like, okay, whatever, you know. And so he picked Zakk Wylde, who was a very great guitar player. You know, they were all great guitar players: Randy Rhoads, Jake E. Lee, and Zakk Wylde. Ozzy got all the best. Also in Black Sabbath, you know, Tony Iommi.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Marcello's first album, Destiny, comes out around March 1989. Did CBS Atlantic put a lot of promotion into it?
CBS put some promotion into it. We did a video. We made it to Headbangers Ball and MTV. We made it number 7, Marcello First Love, the song First Love, made it to number 7 on the top 15 countdown daily. It's the countdown. We were on it for like a month straight. And I thought I was going to be a rock star then, but little did I know, you know. Now I look back and say, oh, I was pretty gullible, I guess. What happened was grunge was coming in at around then, at the end of Marcello's first album, when we decided to go into our new album, Magic Comes Alive, which is now called Power of Money. I know it's confusing, but where was I? My God, lost.
We're talking about promotion of Destiny.
Yeah, promotion of Destiny was pretty good. We decided at first, at least, and they decided to after First Love to do a second video of She's Magic, a song called She's Magic on the Marcello Destiny album. And it didn't really pan out because we were trying to look for girls to model for it, and we couldn't find any. And we were taking a while, and the company just said, it's too late, forget it. You know, they just put it to the side. So after Destiny, like I said, we opened up for Meatloaf, we opened up for Ozzy, we opened up for Joan Jett, we opened up for Extreme. You're probably familiar with the band Extreme. They're a very great band. You know, Benincourt on guitar, he's awesome. And we did shows with them, and the fans really took us, really good. They really liked us a lot. They had us signed autographs on the back of Extreme's paper, on their autographs, whatever their logos.
Extreme is actually from my area here in
Yeah.
Massachusetts. Nuno Betancourt, quite the guitar legend these days.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Now, the model you had for the video First Love was a young Gina Gershon, right?
Yes, it was. You're right.
Obviously, she was on the way up then, and
Yeah.
not on everybody's tongue, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember filming that music video?
Yes, I do. Yeah, it was pretty wild. There was all different ways they filmed it, and there was all different things that were dropping from the ceiling on us while we were banging our heads, and stuff like that. In fact, the ceiling stuff made us all sick, gave me a sore throat for a week afterwards. And but with playing with doing the video with Gina was nice. So we didn't really hang out with her too much, but she did a lot of her scenes herself, and we did our scenes ourselves, and she worked out well in the video. And the video came out really good, I thought, and for at least back then, back in 1989, and so that video made it, like I said, to number 7 on MTV, on the daily 15 countdown. So it was pretty big, and I was pretty happy about it.
So let's flash forward a bit to 2026. You've re-released Destiny on streaming, CD, vinyl. I feel like one of the focus songs in this re-release is the album's title track, Destiny. You have the album track, you have several different mixes, you even have a demo on the second album. Tell me a little bit about that song.
That song is probably a lot of people think that's the best song. I have friends who think that's the best. They love that song, but it has like an instrumental in the middle of it, long instrumental, and a lot of playing by all of us. And which is great, but it wasn't really made for the radio, I don't think. I don't know if it was made for the radio. It was too long. It was like 5 or 6 minutes long, and radio likes 3 or 4 minutes. So we didn't use it for the radio, unfortunately, because I think it was probably the best. Well, First Love I thought was a great song too, but Destiny was a little heavier, and we played a little more guitar and drums in it and bass. We did a little segment that was like a solo actually for the whole band.
These 6 or 7 remixes you have on the re-release.
Yeah.
Did you make those back in '89, or were they?
I did not. No, I did not. They came to a surprise actually with all the campfire mix and all the different mixes. My dad was more involved with that. And then those whole mixes were involved with my dad, and I was fine with them. They were fun. They were just. I kind of thought there was so many on it. I was like, oh, it's this Destiny song's like at the end, like of the CD, a little too much, I'm thinking, but that's what they wanted to do, the company too. So they did that, and on one of the re-releases, they also put some demos of my dad singing some of the Destiny songs before they were Destiny. My dad wrote the songs and he was singing them, and that's when he decided to the company CBS, pretty much CBS. Did want someone, maybe me, to sing it instead and do the guitars. So now I'm getting back to the beginning, but I lost my place again. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's a long time ago.
I'll move you along.
All right.
At the end of Destiny is an instrumental called Rock and Roll Rumble. It's fantastic, but
thank you.
Was there meant to be lyrics to this song?
No, not at all. It was just an instrumental that my father wrote, actually. He wrote this instrumental with me helping out on a lot of guitars, of course. And not to jump the album, but the second album, Power of Money, that album that's just released also is my father wrote most of the songs on that too. But I also wrote the instrumental on that one called Running Man. It used to be called Euphoria. Now it's called Running Man. And I wrote that whole instrumental, like note for note, everything. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun. But Rock and Roll Rumble was really great, too. And I enjoyed that. And I like hearing that every now and then. I listen to it and go, wow, that was good.
So what events led up to you re-releasing Destiny and For the Love of Money?
Events leading up to releasing Destiny, and the other one, Power Money.
And the Power of Money here in 2026.
Well, basically in 2024, we released it. I met this guy, Giles Lavery. He's now my business manager, and he plays in bands such as Warlord, Alcatraz, and I can't remember, Dragon's Claw. But he's pretty active in Warlord. He's touring all over the place, and he tours with Alcatraz too. Alcatraz is from early back in the 80s, and but the only original guy they have left is the drummer, Mark Zonder. And the guys in Alcatraz, not in Alcatraz, I messed up. On Warlord, Mark Zond is the only original guy from the 80s. So I messed up with that. Alcatraz actually was from the early 80s too. They had Yngwie Malmsteen on guitar. So that was pretty big. And then now Giles is singing vocals for the band. I don't know who's left in the original, from the original Alcatraz though.
Jimmy Waldo, the keyboardist.
Oh, okay. Sure, that's right. I heard that. That's right. Yep.
I think I've interviewed the full circle here. I've had Zonder on talk about Warlord. I had Giles Lavery talk about Dragon's Claw. I've had Jimmy Waldo. I've talked to them all. It's nice to see that you're in good hands, actually.
Yeah, like I said, in 2024, Arcane Steel Records put out the one in 2024, Destiny and Power of Money. And in 2026, High Roller Records, I believe. I keep messing it up. They actually put it out in 2026, a few months ago, and did a really great job with the remastered version. And they also, it was also put out in the USA, but they were, with the tariffs that were on a lot of businesses out there in Europe, they made it very high for us for them to ship it out. So a lot of USA people didn't want to buy from that. So we got this guy Gary Schaefer from Pennsylvania, and he sells a lot of our records actually in Pennsylvania, and a lot of people know him. I told people about him. And also lately, just recently, I've been releasing the records on my own. I don't have that many, but it's very limited. We have a vinyl also now. We just did the CDs, and when it sold from all over the country in USA, and I was real happy about that. But we still have a limited edition left. We have that, and we got the vinyls. So I'm going to start discussing the vinyls on a video that I'll make pretty soon.
When Destiny first came out in 1989, was it released on vinyl?
Yes, it was. That's the only time it was released on vinyl up until now. Destiny was, but Power Money wasn't. See, Power Money, back then called Magic Comes Alive. The company spent a whole lot of money on it, and we did all the playing and mixing and everything, and we even did one master of it. But then the company decided CBS decided to drop us from the label when it was all done, that album. And that album was never released at that time. It's seen on bootleggers, later on and stuff, I guess. But known as the Power of Money. So anyway, CBS dropped us from the label because I think grunge was coming in by then, and grunge was very popular all of a sudden in the 1991, 92, and 90, also 90, coming out under the surface. And that happened, and I think our company realized that our kind of music wasn't really in style at that moment, at 91. And when grunge took over, it was like they got rid of a lot of bands like us. And they called us the hair bands, but we weren't just hair bands, I don't believe. I think McCullough's lyrics were a little more unique and stuff than the actual hair bands. But I do like some of the hair bands. But we did have a lot of hair too, so you can call us a hair band if you want. So they dropped us from the label, and Sony also was taken over by, CBS was also taken over by Sony from Japan. So they had to drop a lot of bands too. So which was horrible for us, and a lot of other bands at that time.
So with the second album that didn't originally come out, you worked with different producers besides your father, correct?
Yes, that's true. I can't remember their names, but it didn't quite work out with them. You know, the second album was produced mostly by, well, they worked out. They did the production, but we had a few. I don't know. We had some complaints about some of the production, but my father took over some of it at the end, and me and my father took over a little of the second album production at the end too, and we released them like that. But the um, the producers were fine. They were great. They came up with some great ideas. We just had a little couple of different ideas on drum sounds and stuff like that. But they released it, and the second album. I mean, they didn't release the second album, but the producer went through the whole second album, and they were nice. They were nice guys. So after that, anyway, like I said, we were dropped from the label CBS.
So when CBS drops you, do you try shopping the album to other labels?
We did for a while. We found a couple of guys that were interested in the album and interested in further projects. So I wrote a few songs on my own, and they liked them, but they were looking at us more of as a what do you call that word? Something to get us going. Give them like about a year. They said, give us like a year, and we'll get you.
Developmental.
More of a developmental thing they wanted to do, and even though I thought we were good, but still that they wanted to do a more developmental thing, maybe to fit in with the grunge music. Who knows? I have no idea, but that didn't pan out after a while. So I ended up joining my dad in the band The Good Rats, which he for a little while changed the name, but he decided to go with the name Good Rats because he had ownership of the Good Rats because he was the founder, lead singer, and songwriter, like I said. So I played in the Good Rats for a while later on with my dad and my younger brother, Stephen Marchello. And he played drums and bass at the time, and I sang some cover songs with my father and some original songs, actually, later on that I wrote. And my father sang most of the stuff as the Good Rats, singing Good Rats, original, mostly older Good Rats material, you know, when they were really popular back in the day. Long Island and tri-state area, they were very popular, and people just can't believe why they didn't make it, you know, as if, just like some people can't believe that we didn't make it, Marcello, you know. So that's how it goes, you know. It's just crazy like that, the music business.
So why did the album Power of Money have a title change? It was originally called The Magic Comes Alive, you said.
Yes. Gets confusing, actually. When I met Giles, he decided to change the name because a lot of people knew it as Power of Money, actually, because it was all over YouTube. There were a lot of people, I don't know who they were, but they were putting it out as Power of Money. So we figured, and they put out the Euphoria song, the instrumental, as Running Man. So we just decided, Giles decided to go with the Power of Money, and it worked out right. It worked out okay. You know, it did some sales in Europe, and people were buzzing about it in Europe and Germany and Greece and all around Europe and stuff. And it came out here too, and it was selling a little bit until, like I said, the tariffs kind of screwed it up for us, and we people didn't want to pay that much on shipping and handling. So that's why we got Gary Schaefer to help out in the United States, in Pennsylvania. And then just recently, they gave me some CDs to sell. So that's how it went.
So both albums, Destiny and Power of Money, were remastered within the last year.
Yeah.
Was there anything done to the albums besides really pumping up the volume? Did you make any guitar touch-ups? Did you make any music changes?
No, not at all. Actually, it's the same thing. Yep.
So when it comes to the material on both of these albums, did you have to fight the prior record label for the material, CBS having the masters, or did you already have them when you were dropped from the label?
No, we didn't have to fight for them. We just ended up doing what I just did what Giles said, and you know, we did this record, you know, first back in 2012 on a record company called I forget the name of the company, but it wasn't Arcane Steel. Arcane Steel didn't take over until
AOR Heaven.
AOR Heaven was the first one, which they did okay, but they kind of messed up. They messed up when they mastered it. They only used half the song on one of our songs. Half the song got cut out, so I was a little annoyed about that. As you can probably tell, I definitely had the right to be, and so that's when later on we did it again, and we had the whole album with Arcane Steel, and like I said, High Roller Records took over in 2026 and released both albums plus the vinyl of Destiny and Power of Money. So that worked out pretty well.
And you updated the cover art of Power of Money to kind of match Destiny's cover art, correct?
Yeah, a little bit, yes.
Who was the artist behind the album covers?
I do not know. I forget. I'm not sure.
It was a while.
It was a while, yeah. I don't even know if I was told who was the artist, to be honest with you. Back then, even.
You got a fantastic cover on the second album, James Brown's "I Feel Good." A little more metal than R&B on this one. Tell me a little about it.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm a James Brown fan, so was my dad, and the company decided, and my manager decided to do a cover song, and we were thinking of some songs, but he said, "Why not do James Brown? I Feel Good," and I said, "Well, okay, I mean, I'll do that my way, the way I can sing that, at that time, and the voice I had, which I still have basically the same voice, but it's a little older and lower key now, but I did I Feel Good by James Brown, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I went crazy with it, doing it like just real kind of more metal style, so that was fun.
Has revisiting all this music inspired you to write new music?
Yes, it has. I've been writing for I started playing guitar about a year ago. I took a big long rest off of a break off of playing any music, because I was in a cover band also. Later on, we did tribute bands. I was in a U2 tribute band called To You. I was the singer, and I didn't play any guitar. We had another guitar player, and I was in also a tribute band called Almost Journey, which was a Journey tribute band, and I sang with that. And some people said my voice was a lot like Journey's voice. I had similarities in the ballads and stuff on the Destiny and on also Power of Money. And so anyway, I was used for that also. We had a different guitar player. I just sang, and we did that for 10 years. It worked out pretty good. We did the both bands for about 10 years. Mostly we did the U2 tribute band for most of the years, but we did the Journey again a little later on, and continued through 10 years of that. And I just had to take a break at that. I was just I was doing music my whole life with that, and with my dad, and with Marchello, and whatever else. And I just needed to take a mental break from music. So I did. And now I got the itch. I got the itch back in about a year ago, because I was starting to play guitar again, but my chops weren't like they used to be. And I was trying to and I've been trying since then, since a year or two ago, to play my guitar, and I'm getting there, but I'm not quite as like I was like on those albums, because I was like all over the place on those albums. And like I said, I took a pretty long break, and I didn't play any guitar, and I didn't sing for a lot of years. And I'm trying to get my voice and guitar back into shape, and I wanted to do a new album, a new Marchello album. Giles Lavery said that if you want, we could try a new Marchello album, a brand new product. And so I started writing some ideas and some songs and some of the music, and I wrote also some melodies, and I wrote some lyrics. And I didn't write all the lyrics to the songs yet. I got about 4 or 5 songs that are pretty close to being done. I just need a little help with some lyrics maybe, and we'll take it from there. We'll try to do a full album, and we'll try to release it as a Marchello, the third Marchello album, after years and years, after 30 something years. So that ought to be fun.
So now that these older Marchello songs are seeing the light of day again, they're getting a new ears, do you have the itch to go out and perform these songs live?
At this time, no. It's the vocal range is a little bit out of my league right now. It's so high. I was only 18 years old when I sang that stuff, and 19, 20, something like that, when I sang Destiny and Power of Money. And so I'm working on my vocal range right now. It's getting pretty good. It's getting a lot better than it was. And I'm working on the vocals, working on the guitar, and trying to release an album similar to that, but like I said, maybe with not quite as high of the notes as I did back then. But it's I think pretty interesting stuff. I'm really into a lot of music that I'm and the songs that I'm writing, and I think it's going to be good. Hopefully it'll pan out. Hopefully it'll come out. On High Roller Records or something else. Who knows? I don't know.
Do you keep in touch with the old band at all?
Um, yes and no. They kind of went mostly their separate ways. I've talked to John Michelli, the drummer, a couple of times, and they came to my dad's funeral, who my dad passed away, and unfortunately in 2013, I seen them at my funeral, Nick and John, and they I haven't really seen them after that, and John went to Meatloaf, the drummer. He ended up being the drummer in Meatloaf all those years, and Nick DiMartino went into a tribute band called I forget the name, but it was with Michael DeJudas on lead vocals, who ended up singing with Billy Joel himself at Madison Square Garden. But he was a singer also with Nick DiMartino. Like I said, I can't remember the name right now. I remembered it the other interview, but I can't remember it right now for some reason. And Nick ended up going also, besides Billy Joel, he went into an original band called 9 Days, who did very well in the United States. They had the number one song for the summer in the United States, and probably all over the world. They probably were doing pretty well. But I don't know what happened to them. They didn't do much after that. They got lost from the label, I guess, and they didn't really do much, and I haven't heard anything since myself, from them. So,
are you doing anything current with the Good Rats?
No, actually, my brother went on when I left the band to join the U2 tribute. He went on to sing actually after my father died. He went on to sing for the Good Rats, and that worked out pretty well for him. He sounds a lot like my dad. So kind of so do I, in a way. I kind of learned off of my dad singing a lot influenced by my dad and by other singers out there. So my brother went on to do the Good Rats thing, and then, like I said, well, once my dad actually passed on, he did that, and also what happened was we did original Good Rat. We did one original Good Rat reunion, followed by previous to that, prior to that, my dad did, before he died, he did a whole bunch, maybe 10 or 12 Good Rat reunions with all the original guys at BB King in the city, BB King's in New York City, which I believe closed down a couple of years ago. So my dad, like I said, did a lot of reunions. And so once my dad unfortunately passed, we did one reunion with the original band. Me and my brother Stefan we took turns singing the lead vocals of my father's songs, the Good Rats, and it worked out. It was great. We had a great time, and it was a tribute to my dad, basically, really, and the original Good Rats. So that was it was a very emotional time, that time, really. And so that was what happened there.
Well, those are all the questions I have for you today. Gene Marchello re-released Destiny and the Power of Money through High Roller Records. It's out now, streaming, CD, and vinyl, depending on where you live. And two great records that I'm sorry I missed the first time around, but honored that I got to catch it the second time around. And your albums are so good that I can forgive you for having all that Yankees memorabilia in the background.
Well, that's okay, because the last interviewer loved the Yankees. He was like, "Oh, it's nice." I can't believe you see all that too. Yeah, I'm a big Yankee fan, actually, and so is my friend Lori, who helps me out a lot with the re-release and stuff. Yeah, that's funny.
I can't brag about the Red
Thanks,
Sox.
George. Thanks, George. I appreciate that.
I can't brag about the Red Sox this year, but you got to keep the rivalry going.
Yes, absolutely. Always a rivalry between those two teams. So I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you very much, George, and very happy to be here doing this interview. And thank you so much.
Yeah, I had a great time learning more about Marchello, and Can't wait to give it another listen when we're done.
Thanks a lot.
Once again, I want to thank GENE Marchello of Marchello for coming on the Rock is George podcast. Be sure to check out the re-releases of Destiny and The Power of Money, out now through High Roller Records. Two great lost AOR gems. Head over to your favorite music streaming platform. Take a listen to what's available. If you like what you hear, buy a physical copy. Support the artist. For all things Marchello, head over to their official Facebook page /MarchelloGene. I also want to thank Dustin Hardman of Hardman Promotions and High Roller Records for making this interview possible. You've been great. I've been George Dionne. Discover your next favorite artist on the Rock is George podcast.